Hey everybody, Ronnie here. So we'll see how this goes. Seeing if my air conditioner causes too much background noise. So I've got a whole bunch of questions that were sent to me. So I'm going to go ahead and go over them. They're right here, which, yep, can't see. But that's anyhow. On Super Ego, the different kinds of lease purchase, George says, this guy is on point. He's correct. I lease with Prime Inc. twice, and yes, there's a big balloon payment for payoff. Thanks. Yeah, like I said before, Super Ego, there's no balloon payment. At the end of your lease, you pay $1, you get your title. That works with the truck and the trailer. With a lot of those other companies out there, it's make payments, take all the responsibility for the truck, make your payments, and at the end of your term, if you want to own the truck, you have to give them more money. Sometimes a lot more money. On the video about double brokering and load fishing, Dennis says, sounds like a race to the bottom. It really doesn't it? JJ says, check your information again. Super Ego is a broker. No, Super Ego is not a broker. Super Ego is a carrier. Super Ego connects with brokers to get loads for the drivers. Curtis says, hey Ronnie, thanks for all the videos. I've been a viewer since the beginning. Thank you very much. Off topic, but just wanted to say, man, your sinuses sound brutal. Might be a good time to think about quitting those cigarettes. Yeah, I've been sick for a couple weeks. You might be right about the cigarettes. I've thought about that myself. That's actually why I'm sitting here at home and haven't made a video in days, because I'm feeling bad. I'm running a fever. You can probably see it in my face. It's just I'm not doing good right now. But thanks for noticing. Chris said, could a driver be liable for a stolen load by fraudulent brokers without even knowing? That's a good question. What have I got here? Dinner. I had Jimmy John's for dinner, though. My wife is awesome and brought me Jimmy John's. Could a driver be held liable? It's possible that a driver could be pursued for it, but I don't think that the liability would fall with the driver so long as the driver has a paper trail or a record showing that he picked up the load where he was supposed to, he delivered the load where he was told. So long as you do your job the way you're supposed to, someone else's bad actions shouldn't come back to haunt you right there. There are 2 replies on this, so let's see what we've got. No, that makes them the victims. Correct. Yeah, I'm not going to say that you couldn't, that the broker or the shipper couldn't give you a hard time, but as long as you do what you're supposed to do, you can't be held liable. Gary asks, did you get breakdown pay or hotel reimbursement back? Are you making some money besides referrals? I did not get breakdown pay. The hotel was covered. I am making money besides referrals. The fact of the matter is I don't make very much on referrals at all, but I have several different income streams. Trucking is one of them. It's the biggest one, but I have several income streams, but referrals is not a major contributor. I do appreciate the referrals that come in, but I get 2, maybe 3 referrals a month. Broken again. John says that shouldn't bother you none since you're making all that money. Like I said, I'm somewhat diversified. I do make money without trucking. With that said, not being out there trucking, it hurts. Right now, I have a fever. It's up over 100 right now. I probably shouldn't be doing this even, but I am. And I haven't made a video in days, and I so just wanted to make a video and talk to y'all. Coffee. That'll fix everything, right? On the road again. Gary asks, are you making any money besides referrals? Does Superego give you breakdown pay? Most of your issues seem to be warranty work. Yes, I am making money besides referrals. Most of the money I make at Superego is off of running loads, not from referrals. And I've said it already in this video, I'll say it again. I'm diversified, so I don't just make money from trucking. Does Superego give you breakdown pay? No. Superego does not give you breakdown pay. Most of my issues seem to be warranty work. Yes. Thank goodness. It was all warranty work. It took me going to 4 different Peterbilt dealerships to get the problem actually fixed. But once they did fix it, it's been fixed. All right. Thank you to the folks at the St. Joseph Peterbilt. Everybody else sucks ass. Credo asks, can I buy diesel by proper fuel card if I want? Yeah, absolutely. You can use, I have a TCS card, I've got a NATSIC card. I do use Mudflap a lot because Mudflap does seem to have the best prices many times. But then TCS is probably second in line. And this was on Blitz time. Passed my inspection 2 weeks ago, and Superego 8 paid me nothing for it. Did you send in your inspection sheet? You send that in with your bills of lading. They can't do anything until they've got that in their hands. And then sometimes it can take a week or two for everything to get processed through. It's safety. Midlife Trucker, Tom, good guy. I like him. Better an hour early than late. Yes, it is always better to be early than late. In the case of what he was talking about was I went and crossed from Eastern time zone to Central time zone and pushed myself back an hour. I was on time to get to where I needed to go in the Eastern time zone. Unfortunately, I was going the right direction, and so when I completely miffed it, all I did was showed up an hour early. This place was still closed when I got there anyway, because it was first thing in the morning. And he says the 34 works better. You know what? 34s are fine. I like running recaps, so I run 8 to 9 hours a day. I never overdo it. It's enough for me to get 500, 550 miles, and then it leaves me time to do this at the end of the day also. I'm also going to school online. I'll have my MBA pretty quick. Matthew says, I've spoken to Ronnie and he's a good guy. He won't BS you and knows his numbers. Anybody looking to get help, give him a call. Absolutely. If you have questions, feel free to give me a call. My number is on the screen, and I always put it in the description down below. Let's see here. And I just moved where I was at. Chris says, $500 you should have gotten detention pay you got for sitting over 5 hours. I did get detention pay. My dispatcher went straight back to the broker, fought for me. It was over 5 hours sitting there, and I actually missed my pickup appointment for my next load. Absolutely. He went to the broker, raised some hell, got me some detention pay. And Chris also says, and me would never do a multi-drop because all you're doing is wasting time delivering those extra drops. That Carson to you another load. Also going to New York, dealing with all those tolls. Worst state to drive in, ban all tolls constantly. Yeah, the tolls aren't too bad. And then loads going into New York pay really well. I actually have been averaging some pretty good pay coming out of New York also, but I only go to upstate New York. La something or other. I'm interested, might seek help from you when I'm already decided 46 years experience, 9 years here with reefer, dry van. The rest is from the country where I came from. You know what? Yeah, absolutely. If you want to talk about it, give me a holler. One of the things that, you know, maybe it's just me, I just don't understand it, is people that go and, and I talk to people all the time, and many of them tell me that they've been looking at Super Ego for a year or 2 years or whatever. All right. And that's not me. Between starting to look at Super Ego and deciding to pull the trigger, less than 30 days passed for me. In this world, I've found that there are two kinds of people. The kind that I am is the kind that looks at a situation, makes a decision, and sticks to it. Did I have all the information to make a fully educated decision? No, I didn't. So there was a little bit of a leap of faith involved. Fortunately, I came into this with some money in my pocket to begin with. I did have some savings. Like I said, I don't put all of my eggs in one basket. But if you want to be successful in business, if you want to be successful in life, sometimes you just got to take a chance, make a decision, and stick to it. Waiting for everything to get perfect is waiting for something that's not going to happen. So if you have an interest in Super Ego, go ahead and pull the trigger. The economy's not the best. The freight market's not the best. We've had those discussions. But at this point, everything's only going up. And if the people that take chances are the ones that are rewarded. That's the way I feel anyway. Is there a light at the end of the tunnel? Be careful what you wish for. This was from Debbie. And it's going to get a lot worse. Just wait and see. Bad times have just begun. Trump was right about everything, but some people just won't listen. They let their hate overrule their logical thinking. And fake news, blah, blah, blah. Red pill, Matrix. I don't get into politics. Most of what's happening in Washington doesn't affect me. And I have no say when it comes down to it. I'm not saying that I don't vote. I do, every single time. But I'm not going to discuss politics. This is not the time or the place. Are things going to get worse? They could. They could. Are things going to get better? Eventually. The last week that I was on the road, things were looking not too bad that week. All right. Blah, blah, blah. More politics. John says the way out is to go company that pays W-2. Be happy with your 12 to 15 net a week until the market changes. Lease purchase will always be there. When I decide to do something, I do it. And I don't let something like 10 cents less a mile deter me. I don't run away when the going gets tough. And I know everybody's got different levels of pain that they can accept. I know mine's a little bit higher than some. But I'm certainly not going to run away just because the times got a little tough. And Williams, I hear it's so bad people are changing from lease purchase to company. Is that something you're looking into or still pushing along now for this? Oh, this is John. We talked on the phone the other day. Yeah, like I just said, I'm sticking it out. I'm not the kind of person to quit and run. There's got to be a massively good reason. My kids would be a good reason. And they're eating, they're going to school, they're clothed. We've got this wonderful house over our heads. So, no, I'm not running away. I'm sticking it out. And I think everybody should. Oh, an old one. Daniel is from Let's Talk About the Trucks. This one was back in, March when I did this one? So the Freightliner will be zero down 2023 year and brand new. You just have to pay 4 cents per mile. Maintenance, no escrow, and registration is free. Anything I should know about the Freightliner deal? I'm definitely going to go for that, I'm thinking. Yeah, my first truck was the Freightliner. Yeah, it was zero down. You don't pay for the registration. You pay 4 cents per mile for the maintenance, and that does include your registration. You know what I'm saying? I think that's only on the Freightliner S's. So those are the base level Freightliners. If you want any bells or whistles, then you have to step up. Anything that's brand new is $5,000 down, I believe. But if it's used, basically at all, if it's got like over 30,000 miles on it, then it's zero down. You can't beat that with stick. That's why my truck, my Peterbilt, was zero down because it had 44,000 miles on it. Saving on fuel. When your truck is stopped at the shop for breakdown, does Super Ego continue to charge you, or do your payments stop? Yes and no. If you are not running, then they can't charge you a truck payment. They will catch it up eventually. You can bet on it. It's still actually being charged. It's just not, if you don't have anything coming in, they can't deduct anything from nothing. But they'll catch you up eventually. They won't do it all at once. Anytime you have anything extra that needs to come out, what Super Ego does is they chop it up into little bit bite-sized payments and take that out once a week for however long. JP, you broke down again on a new truck. Yes, I did. Thank you so much. Brad on saving on fuel says gallons seem high. You're right. Absolutely. I was doing numbers right off the top of my head. I shouldn't have done that. I should have done all the math before. But it is what it is. But when it comes down to it, even though the math was a little high, the points were all the same, and the points were good. Dave asks, so with Super Ego, I suppose you don't use their fuel card and you pay for fuel out of your own pocket. You're responsible for taking care of your IFTA taxes yourself, correct? Super Ego will charge you back your IFTA taxes. It's never really that much. The thing with paying for fuel is whether you're using Super Ego's fuel card or you're coming out of pocket with TCS card, NATSA, Mudflap, or whatever, you're still coming out of pocket. Either way, you are paying for the fuel. So if you are paying with Super Ego's fuel card, you're putting off paying for the fuel for a week, but you're not getting any discounts. If you are using a discount program to get your fuel, you're paying for the fuel up front, but you're saving money all the way across. Yes, that's why you send in your receipt. Super Ego will charge you back your IFTA, but it's never really that much. Chris says, these are great videos and stay safe out there. Thank you. And Chris also says, nice truck, great video. I'm heading out to Chicago to Super Ego in a few weeks. Good job. Send me a picture of your truck. Drive or don't for following the conditions. Chris says, I bet most of them were following too close because there shouldn't have been that much of a pile up if people were not following too close. People just don't learn. Yeah, that's going to be a big part of it. This was when I was talking about smoke coming across the road and there was that big pile up in Illinois. I could have gone and said out by Denver or up in Wyoming or whatever. These things happen all over the place. And yes, a big contributor is following too close. Sometimes it's not paying close enough attention. In the case of the smoke issue, or it wasn't smoke, it was dust. But in the case of this dust issue, you couldn't see. And if you can't see, what do? You drop your speed, you get pulled over in a safe place as soon as possible, wait it out, because even though it was only a couple of miles across, nobody had the ability to tell just how far it was. But the visibility wasn't there. Get yourself off the road as quickly as possible and as safely as possible. That's the best advice I can give there. There was who was it? Werner, I think, just lost an appeal. They had a driver that they had put out. He was going across North Texas. This is, I don't know, a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe. And he was going across North Texas, and there was an ice storm, freezing rain, black ice on the roads. And he was evidently doing about 50 miles per hour. This driver he shouldn't have been behind the wheel in this truck. He had just gotten his CDL. He'd had it for about a week. He should have been in a truck with a trainer and not been allowed to drive in those conditions. And Werner lost their appeal, like $100 million that they're being sued for. One kid died. Mom ended up with brain damage. Another kid was hurt severely but pulled through. And this is because someone that didn't have the proper training to drive down a perfect road was left alone behind the wheel and was put in a situation where nobody should drive in those conditions, period. That's one of those get off the road as soon as possible situations. Wait it out. But he didn't know this. He had no training. He did not know this. This is for anybody that is getting a CDL. We're not even talking about becoming an owner operator. But when you finish getting your CDL, let me assure you, you're not ready. A CDL school does not teach you how to be a trucker. CDL school teaches you how to back your truck up and how to keep it on the road under ideal conditions. If you are planning on going to CDL school, make sure you've got a plan for getting on the road training after your CDL school. If this guy had done that, then those people would probably still be a family. I hate to go and end it on a sour note like that. But thanks for watching. I'm glad I was able to get this one out. And if you have any questions or comments about anything we talked about today, put them down in the comments below. If you have an interest in joining Super Ego, give me a call. Once again, my number is on the screen, and it will also be in the description down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.